Hello, everyone, and welcome back again. And I'm happy to see you today too. Okay, so far so good. We've learned a lot throughout this journey on the best Python course ever to happen on this planet. Okay, so in our previous tutorial we talked about classes, and today we are going to talk about inheritance and polymorphism in Python. Now, because Python is an object-oriented programming language, it also supports what inheritance and polymorphism. So every object-oriented programming language support classes, inheritance, and polymorphism. You should put that at the back of your mind. Okay. So we've talked about classes. Now I'm going to show you something about inheritance. Let's give example in our family. Sometimes when our dads and moms are alive, we always say that hey, if the person die, his daughter or maybe the son is going to inherit his father's properties. Okay. So that is all the scenario I want you to know here. Now, the father here is something we call a superclass. We don't touch him until he's maybe normal. But the daughter here becomes what a subclass. Because when the dad is not there, the daughter will inherit all the properties the dad have. So this is all what I want you to have the idea of how inheritance works. So it's just English. When I told you, or when we started this course, I told you you should be good in English and also good in math. That is the truth. Okay? So they'll be able to understand what you are doing. So inheritance, what we are doing is we create a superclass. Then we create a subclass, and that subclass is going to inherit all the properties in the superclass. So let's try to write an example right here for you to understand. Okay. Now, what am I going to do here is I'm going to delete all this code so that we create everything from scratch, because this is what a tutorial and a lesson. So I want you to understand from the beginning. But I know so far so good you'll be able to understand all this. Okay. So what are we doing here now? We are going to work around an example of an animal. Now here, animal is what? A superclass. By animals, we have a lot of animals like dog, cat, name them a lot. Now, animal is our superclass. Now, dog and cat become our subclass. And this dog is going to inherit from us, the animal. Okay? So the animal is kind of like a big boss which has a lot of animals under, like cats, dog, elephant, and the rest. So in this example, we create a class. Always make sure you have your capital Pascal naming, okay? A class name called animal. Then under this animal, we have what? One property. Let's put it as an empty string because we might pass any animal name there, okay? Don't have the name. Then now, we want to define a function here called eat, because all animals eat. Then when you hit the parentheses, it initializes or the self parameter for you. Okay, now we want to print this out when we access what those properties. So we just said I can eat. Okay. So we've created this what? We've created this method or function here in this what class. Now this is where the inheritance comes in. Create another class, but this time creating a class of a dog. Now to inherit, this is what now another class. This is the main class, this is the superclass, this is the subclass, because a dog is an animal. So to access the properties within this, we use what? The parenthesis, then passing the superclass here, which is the animal. So now what is happening here? Dog is going to inherit some properties of, because dogs can eat, it will inherit these methods from what? The superclass. So this dog will inherit all information within this animal superclass. Then don't forget to bring your colon. Then we can also define a function or a method display. First of all, we'll initiate the self constructor for you. Then let's say print my name is self dot name. Okay, what are we doing here? We want to print the name of maybe the dog. So self dot name, we are passing it to this empty string, so that when we create our object and we try to call it, it's in the name, which it has an empty string, we can pass our any name to it. Okay, so that's what we just did here. Then now we can create our object of the class dog. So let's give this a name like Laduga is equal to dog. Get the dog class. Then now Laduga dot name can pass the name of a dog. Let's say our dog is called Rogapast. The dog name is Rogapast. Then we can say Laguda can also eat. Oh. Then Laduga can also have what a name. We have a name of a display. Yeah. So what is happening here? We created what? Our superclass animal. This dog is serving as an inheritance. So this is how inheritance works. So this dog is inheriting some methods, some properties from this superclass, from what animal. That's why we pass animal in this parenthesis. Okay. And now we created an object and access what? Our dog class. So Aguda, which is an object, about being created as object of the instance of this class. Then now we called the name from where? The superclass. Then we use the to also get what the functions or methods from this superclass. Then we use that to also display the function we created here that plays the name of this class. So now just this sum up everything about what inheritance is, because the dog is inheriting from what the animal superclass. So you can create a lot of properties here and functions here, and well, what you will do is this dog is going to access all those stuff here without even writing a lot of functions here. So when you inherit here, it makes your code here so easy for you. Okay, you can write just few simple line of code, because this dog is already accessing all properties from the animal class. Okay, so now when we print this, let's run our code. Now we know that what Luga can eat, and the display name is my name is Ruga Past. Okay, so the name of our dog is called Ruga Past, and Ruga cannot eat. Okay, So we can even change this. And we'll cut it, then place it down. So that will be a bit in order. So when we run, okay, now our name, my name is Rokapass, and what can you do? I can eat, because every dog can eat. Okay, so this was the method from the superclass, and this was what the method from the subclass. So that is how inheritance work within what. That is how inheritance work within nature of what working in or what Python. So you should always make sure you be able to create all these kinds of what functions in the superclass, so that when you're using your subclass to access, it will be very, very, very simple to you. So with this comes what we call what polymorphism. Yeah, polymorphism in Python, which is actually similar like inheritance, but here polymorphism is very important as like concept of programming, which means the condition of occurrence is in different form. Okay, so you see we have a superclass called animal with all these sort of functions, methods, and these sort of properties, and we have dog as what a subclass. So in polymorphism, we have different classes with different names and their methods and functions. Okay, so let me give you one example. Okay, so you see, mostly back in our first tutorials and stuff, we used to do something about. Let me give you an example here before we come to more. We used to do maybe learn. Let's say num1. That's a variable. Then we assign, like, let's say 1. Then we say num2 equals to 2. Then after that we print maybe num1 plus num2. Okay, so these were what some data types we were working with, which are string, like string data types, ints, okay, integers, and let's say float numbers. But functions in polymorphism is in the form of trying to use what let's say length, the length function, to calculate actually what is what happening within what your code. Okay, so in example, we can also say you defining what a polymorphism in your classes could also have different what keywords, like how we use the length, the depth, the class keywords. It's the same thing that happens in polymorphism. So as I told you, polymorphism is just creating different methods of what a different class. So we can have a class of a cat, we can have a class of a dog. Okay, and you know the difference here is, we know dog can make sound, and what the cat can also make sound. So the polymorphism here is these two animals can all make sound. So we use what a method of what the sound to represent all these animals. This is all actually what polymorphism is about. So I know this explanation, you'll be able to get so deep into this explanation. So it's better to do an example so that you understand what I'm talking about in polymorphism. Okay, so let's create one example of polymorphism so that you'll be able to know what I meant by. So let me try to delete the screen. Now let's try to write a polymorphism here. So first we create a class called, let's say, cat. Now let's define a method for this class. So info the self-initiated. Okay, then let's print something like a cat. A cat. Then let's say class of what's dog. Now what is happening here? We created a cat class, we created a dog class. So we also create a new function, define info. Then we pass in the self initialization constructor. Then we also print a what? A dog. None. You can also create another function here. Define make underscore son. It was called me son. Self initialization. Then think the sort of like that. It's a smear. So to make our code, we can copy this. Then let me put this here. Then just change that. We know that dogs also back. They don't do meow. Okay. So now we created cat class, dog class. They all have info, like I'm a cat, this is I'm a dog, and they all make sound to this, the meow sound, and the dog make what a back sound. Now this is where we create what's an object of all this class. So let's say cats one, say be equal to cats, then dog one be equal to dog. Now because we have these two classes, we can create a for. A for for it. So for the animals, we can say for animal in what at one, then dog one, oh, there's a mistake here. The kid reference here. The mirror is leaking. Animal that makes sound. Let's run the code. Yeah. So we have the meow and the back. Now we have what's a cat here class and we have a dog class. You can have three different animals in the same what which makes sound. Like we have a lot of animals like the parrots, you know the sound they make, they are all what animals, okay? Now you can create a class for cats create a class for dog. You can create a class for a parrot. You can create a class for a lion. Okay, but they all make sound, but they have difference. So these classes with the same type of, let's see, a function like making sound. They all have info. This is what we call polymorphism in Python. So as I told you, polymorphism is just simple, literally meaning for this for characters in different form. So this is a different sound. This is a sound, okay, in different form. This is a different sound, okay, in different form. So you can get a sound for lion by different form. The same to be elephant. The same to be goat, sheep, chicken, pork. That's a pork, like pig. Yeah, and a whole lot. Okay, so this is all about polymorphism and inheritance. Yeah, so polymorphism, as I told you, is just what a condition of parents in different form, so a different class, different form, different class. You see, all these types are all we call polymorphism. I hope this be able to capture the whole idea of how polymorphism works and how inheritance is. So that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. So far so good. We've captured a whole lot throughout this journey, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As I told you, I've slowed down this tutorial so that you'll be able to get all the idea. That's why it's the best Python course on this planet. Yeah, because most programmers will go faster when they are talking to you about doing this, but I'll break it down so that you know what we actually did. But in the projects we are going to build in the future, in this lesson, I'm going to speed up. I'm not going to be slow, so that when I write the code, you'll be able to identify what you've already talked about. Like maybe if I'm assigning a variable, if I'm doing classes, if I'm doing inheritance, if I'm doing polymorphism, if I'm doing functions, if it's if or for loop or while loop, you will understand. I hope it's clear. Take care and enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next lesson. I'm your co-instructor, Dr. Don from Learn with Your Brains. Take care. Goodbye.